Hello, everybody. Welcome to SureFire Live. I have a little treat tonight. I poured myself a frosted mug of root beer, and I love root beer and frosted mugs. I don't know if I have any root beer frosted mug fans out there, but keep a couple of mugs in the freezer just for an occasion. I hope you guys are doing well. I'm gonna have to make it a little bit short tonight. Tonight's my wife's birthday, and we are going to dinner here in a little bit. A little bit of a later night, but a pretty cool place. And so she's retired, but she's out working. She's making deliveries for the chocolate company. I will have to say that the chocolate company has gone crazy lately. We got listed in a lot of big things: Southern Living, Wall Street Journal, on Reese Witherspoon's personal list of her favorites this last weekend, and it has made the chocolate company go crazy. So whatever you do, don't order chocolate from me. You can, we'll get it, but man, it was crazy. Hey, got a lot of people coming in. Hey, Chad likes him some root beer. Cody says, chimney time, baby, let's do this. Happy birthday, Terry. Can't tell who that is. I will let her know. Another happy birthday. And then good evening. Hey, Ferd, how are you tonight, buddy? Good to see you. It's going to be a quick night because I'm going to talk about a couple things. Oh, Diane Pilger says Poppy and Peep is awesome. Thank you so much. Somebody called and said, hey, who's your publicist? I said, we don't have a publicist. But all of a sudden, a lot of people are finding out about it, and here came the orders. We had as much orders in in about a month in a couple of days as we would have. Actually, when you add it all up, almost a year's worth of work came in just a few days, and so it's kind of crazy. Can you tell now? I'm not sure. It doesn't say who this is. I think you're saying who. I can't tell who it was, but I can't tell. But thank you, guys. And I wanted to talk about the importance of mentors and also mastermind groups. We have one. Chad's in a few of these. A few people are in it, and also Chad's a mentor to a lot of people. I do some mentoring, but I have mentors too. And the one thing I want to talk about was the importance of that to kind of leapfrog yourself. If you're trying to do something in life, I don't care what it is, if it's business or personal development or writing a book or whatever you want to do in life, get in somebody's tailwind that is already there. Get behind them, follow them, listen to them. And I want to talk about how that's kind of affected my life, and I actually have seen it affect other people's life. Hey, Jeremiah, good to see you, buddy. Jeremiah is he is tracking. Ferd is tracking. But I'll tell you on that tracking thing, sometimes it feels like you're doing all the right things and nothing is happening, nothing is going right. Like I can read the books and I can think this way and I can do this and do that, and nothing happens. And this isn't like a magic pill and everything's going to work out. It just, what mentorship does and groups do is they kind of give you an armor to know that there is this is just the rite of passage to get there. And two, there may be tricks and tips to get around it faster. So you have to still go through it. Nobody's going to give you the golden key and say the right words. And I'm never going to say the right words on a podcast or on a FaceTime Live to say this is the way. I might save you some time. I might give you an aha, but really what we're trying to do is help you understand that's just the real struggle. And your attitude going into the struggle and coming through it is really what you have to build up and get good at. We got a nice little crowd building. I do want to say a quick story on myself. I on Thanksgiving, my family does a big get together in Indiana. We drove up. And every year, it seems like people were kind of phoning it in. They were going to Walmart and buying a pie or buying bread or buying cookies or coming in with boxed chicken, because we actually rent out this community center and have everybody come into this one place. Everybody cleans up, and it's a pretty cool thing. And so I started giving everybody a hard time about just phoning it in, just not cooking at home. And I'm like, I mean, our food is not, I don't think it's getting better. I think we're getting a little lazy. So I started saying, hey guys, everybody make something from home. Of course, some people push back and they were traveling and couldn't. And I said, I'm traveling too. I'm going from Tennessee to Indiana. And like, well, what are you going to make? And I said, I can make whatever. And they're like, why don't you make brisket? So I'm like, that's a tough call, being 4 hours away making brisket, but I did it. I got this $80 brisket, trimmed it up, cooked, smoked it perfectly. I mean, it was probably one of my best briskets. I did the burnt ends, and I did the point and the tip and the flat, I should say. It was all perfect. Didn't cut it yet, but I made it. At the end, I decided to finish it in about 1 hour in my oven. It was getting late. My charcoal was kind of dying out. I've got it wrapped anyway. It can't take any more smoke. Put it in the smoker, or put it in the oven just to finish it off. Put it on 240, 1 hour. It was 2 a.m. Ding, goes off. I go in. I check it. Perfect. Literally perfect. I then just turn the oven off and go to bed, because I'm just going to let it cool down and kind of rest, but soak up all those juices. Well, guess what I didn't do? I didn't turn off the damn oven. It cooked for another 6, 7 hours. So I wake up the next morning and I'm like, I smell brisket. Why am I smelling brisket? I shouldn't be smelling brisket. And sure enough, it cooked and the whole time. And I'm like, oh no, the perfect brisket doesn't last 7 more hours in the heat. I check it, and I cut it, and sure, it looked juicy and everything. It does right off the bat, but as soon as you put it in your mouth, you start chewing, all of a sudden it sucks all the moisture out of your mouth. And I'm like, I have just ruined this brisket. So guess what I had to do? I had to go to the store. Costco has burnt ends that you can buy in these little packs, and I went and I had to buy the brisket for everybody and warm it up. And here I am, giving everybody crap, and then I'm the one that has to do it. But it turned out okay. It wasn't like my brisket was, but it just served me right, because I gave everybody hell, and then here I had to do it. But anyway, so tonight is my wife's birthday, and part of it is tonight was about being thankful and having people in your corner when people aren't in your corner. And in a way, it's your mentor, but also it's who you choose in life. It's who you choose to go through this life with. And I've been married before, and I can tell you, my first wife wasn't in my corner. And I know there's people on here that you've had significant others that were not in your corner. I'm telling you, you can't get through life without somebody in your corner. You need somebody in your corner. You need that sounding board. You need that person to call you on your crap. You need that person to be there when you're not hitting on all cylinders, and picks you up. And my wife has been there for me, and I know Chad's wife has definitely been there for him. Diane and John Pillager are a superpower team. They may fight, they may argue. I don't ever see them fight, but they get after. They're New Yorkers, but man, they're there for each other. And I can tell you, find somebody that will go through it with you, and you be there for them too. Excuse me. Got something in my throat. Better drink a little root beer. Diane says, my mentor was Jack Pixley. Jack was awesome. He chose us, and it changed our business and life. He was a pain in the ass and made us accountable to ourselves. Miss that man. Yeah, Jack was an early mentor of mine too. Jack was amazing. He had the heart of a teacher. Whenever he mentored you, he wanted to make sure you were taught something. And one of the main awards in the industry is the Jack Pixley Friendship Award. I think John Pilger still gives those out. That friendship and that was his thing. I remember he told me one time, he said, Mark, we are not in the employer-employee business. We are in the training of young men at the time, mostly men, and it could be women too, but we're in the training of people business. We're there to teach them how to be men, and then chimney sweeps and technicians second. We're there to teach them how to be men. And I never forgot that. And it made more sense the more employees I had, because it helped me understand that, everybody comes from a different background and has different, you know, I don't know, they have just a different sounding board. And sometimes they've never had a strong man in their life or a strong woman in life. And, I have a work release program at my powder coat facility, and I love it. But we've gone through probably, gosh, 60, 70 inmates that come through the program. The sheriff drops them off. We talk to them. We show them a trade. We teach them, accountability, and can't have phones. And there's a program around it. It's a little bit of work for us to make sure, they're not, there's cameras and there's things. And they are they're already on good behavior. They're about to be out. They've got their life to look forward to. And I end up becoming a mentor to a lot of those guys. I go in and I talk to them, and I love it. And they're so needy at that point. They're very open for ideas. The majority of them are. They want to know how this life works because they messed up. They did not make good decisions. They did not, when the crap hit the fan, they chose the wrong thing. And I try to be there for them. I pay them to read books. I pay them $50 a book, and they have to give me a little quick book report. We also have Audible. They can't do Audible, but some of my employees that rotate out and they stay with us, we have them do Audible, and you can do clips on Audible. Hopefully you know how to do that so you can remember stuff. And I review their clips, whatever they listen to. But I become a mentor to those guys. A couple things. I had a policy meeting with everybody the other day because some of the people were posting, not prisoners, but some of the other people posting on Facebook and on social media our powder coating things. And I love that. I love that they're proud of it. I said, I will be your biggest cheerleader in this whole thing. I want you to win. It does my heart good to see you win. And I will be your biggest cheerleader. But when you're posting stuff about my company on your social media thing, I have to have you sign this policy because I can't have you turn against us and do stuff. But secondly, you have to run everything through me. We sign a lot of NDAs with manufacturers. You just can't post their stuff in production and have pictures of it and have it go out on social media. There's a lot of brands that we powder coat for. You can't show their brands on social media. I've had bad things happen with social media. A kid was a terrible actor, and he was videoing something that was bad, but my van was caught in the background, and I didn't see it on. This guy was like a militia kind of guy that we hired. He only worked for us like 30 days before we found this out, and he was gone. But he posted this stuff, and if you follow my Facebook or my podcast, I talk about it a couple of years ago. But anyway, I told them, hey, you have to run everything through me. I'll be your biggest cheerleader. And we have these rules for reasons you don't even know about. That's how life is, period. That's why a mentor is so important, is when you tie in with somebody, they can tell you the rules before you have to face the consequences. Now, my mentor, Larry Winget, says this. He goes, there's a difference between ignorance and stupid. Being ignorant is one thing. Being stupid is a whole nother thing. Being ignorant, you didn't know about it. You had no idea this hammer was just sitting out there, this problem, this trap, this code, this insurance that you needed, all the things. There's a million ways that we're ignorant in life. He said it's okay to be ignorant, but the next step is being stupid. Being stupid is you knew better. You knew there was a warning. You've been told that there's a thing. You've been warned, and you still did it, or you didn't do it. You didn't do the thing you needed to do. That's being stupid. So ignorance is fine. Stupid is not fine. So let's not be stupid. And this is the talk I give to the guys. I said, also, well, backing up, my daughter was in there in our break room. She said, man, your signs, it needs some help in your break room for these guys. Your signs are very demanding, and they're very direct, and they're like rough. I said, honey, I have prisoners in there. Being nice didn't work. Society is trying to be nice, and they don't listen to nice. Nice doesn't work for them. They have to have direct orders, and obviously consequences if you don't do the thing we're trying to do. And she just didn't get that because she's never been around that. I'm like, I would love to be nice to people and they do the right thing. That's just not how it works. And especially on that end, when they've gone all the way to not when they've gone to jail and they're getting out of jail. I shouldn't say prison because these guys are light felons. They're not like hardcore, nothing like that. But I'm like, nice doesn't work, and it doesn't work for everybody. And as a mentor, you have to know the difference in that. A lot of times you have to tell them the hard thing and be the one that holds them accountable. There was a guy that came back to work for us today. He was in the prisoner program, and I liked the guy a lot. I've talked about it on my podcast. I wanted him to win so bad. He'd never really had a father. He was a great worker. He had a daughter, and I loved his vibe, and I love what he was trying to do. Man, he got out. He was in the halfway house for a year. When the year comes up, you got to get out and you got to get your own place. He struggled to get his own place, save enough money. It's hard for these guys to get out of jail. They have no credit, no driver's license, nothing. And they're trying to get the world is spinning fast. They can't quite get on the track. And I hate that for them because it really is hard to catch up in life. You're out of money, you got a criminal record, you've got no credit, you've got no driver's license. A lot of times there's a weight on your back and it's really hard to get going. It's easy to fall back into what was easy. But got him going. Year came along. It's time for him to get an apartment, and he hadn't quite found one. I helped him with his deposit get into another place. Man, it was the worst thing I could have done for him. He loved the guy, but he all of a sudden started not coming to work on time, started having a little problem, started missing work, not like ever. Whenever somebody was responsible for him, whenever he couldn't like get out of the thing, he was great. But whenever he went to his own decision-making, it started getting worse and worse and worse. And I hated that because I felt like in a way that in my helping him, I might have set him up for failure because I helped him get that place. And the place was maybe one of the worst things for him because he was all of a sudden free. He all of a sudden had all what he needed and he could do things. And he fell down. But I found out today we did bring him back to give him another chance, but he might be watching this, and I hope he is, because I want them to win. I want people to win, but I won't let you run over me to win. And I won't keep it. I'm not doing you any good. I've realized, and I think Dave Rettinger in another group I'm in said this, and I'm going to mess it up, but he said, we're in the behavior. Chad, you might remember what he said. He said, we're in the behavior recognition business. We're into behavior identification business. We are not in the personality changing or he said something else, but basically we're there to recognize behavior and reward it. We're not there to change the behavior is basically what he was saying. And I thought that was really good. I've realized with this program that I'm a mentor for, I'm not there to change your behavior. I'm there to recognize if you have something in you that we can, draw out and be better about. That's what my job is. I used to try to help people. I still do try to help people. Don't get me wrong. I'm still a sucker for a good story, but I realize that I'm not actually doing them any good. It does the best to them to hold them accountable. Like now this guy came back. I am going to give him a really hard time for screwing that deal over and getting one more chance. And of course he's sorry, but a lot of these people who have bad habits are really good at saying, I'm sorry. If they have an alcohol problem or they have whatever problem they've got, how they get through life is saying, I'm sorry. And they're really good at it. And I used to believe them. If I tell you I'm sorry, I am genuinely sorry and I'm going to change the behavior, or I understand I messed up and that's not going to happen again. These guys say, I'm sorry. And it's just a way for you to get off their back right now because they're going to do it again. And so I've realized these guys, and I'll say it, I hope I don't hurt feelings, but maybe it should hurt feelings. Alcoholics are the best at saying I'm sorry. They are so good at saying I'm sorry, and you believe them. and you want to help them. Drug addicts are right there with them. But any of those kind of behaviors, the I'm sorry and the really good submissive behavior is a tactic that they've learned to get you to stop being mad at them, and then they get to do whatever they want to do again because they're going to say I'm sorry. So I got off on a little topic there, but that's kind of how I mentor people all the time, and I believe in it. But on another side, I'm in groups of people that we mentor each other and we cheer each other on, and we are there. And that's the SureFire Accelerator group and I'm in also mixed groups, and I'm in accelerator group, and I was in an entrepreneur organization group. And I find a lot of value in being around people that are trying to go the direction I'm going. So in Accelerator specifically, we are all chimney companies that are really trying to grow. And we're really honest with each other. We're really transparent. We're telling our wins. We're telling our losses. We're sharing our best ideas. We're sharing what we went through. We're sharing sometimes documents and processes and marketing tools. And, it's a very giving group for the most part. And today, one of our guys, had mentioned, he goes, hey, this month, we had triple the revenue of this month last year. And he said, I will contribute so much of it, if not all of it, to the things I learned in this group. Now, I'm going to tell you this, it's not just our group. It is a great group, but any groups you get in of people of they're trying to go somewhere, and you have people in there that are way ahead of you, that's the group you want to be in. What you don't want is to be in the front, be the best guy in the group all the time, be the top of the front of the classroom all the time. And sometimes I'm in the front of the classroom, sometimes I'm in the back classroom. And I like being in the front of the classroom. If I can help you, I will. But I also need to get in some classrooms where I'm in the back. It's because there's other things for me to learn. And I like both classrooms, but I seek out those classrooms. I've paid hundreds of thousands of dollars to be mentored and buy classes and buy coaching and buy mentorship and buy even time around some of these people that I could never be around. And I go back to Larry Wingate because Larry, a lot of people don't know him now, but at one time he was a 7-time New York Times bestseller. He was he's been inducted into the Professional Speakers Hall of Fame. He had a TV show on A&E. He was a huge accountability clarity guy. And I really like that. Well, I was a big fan of his, and I found out I could basically pay to go to one of his events and listen to him talk about how to be a professional speaker and how to write a book. I'm like, that sounds fascinating. I want to do that. It's like 2015. I got there. There was a way to buy another program that was a lot more expensive, that he'll help you write a book, and you'll go through a really hardcore, intensive professional speaking course. And but it was like, at the time, it was $30,000 to go through this course with him. And like, you really, you're at his house. I'm like, when am I ever going to get a chance to be around somebody that is ahead of me, that is way up here, that knows these things, has the core values that I like. He believes in a lot of things I like. So I paid it. And I wrote a book, and that's how my book got written. He helped me write the title, and he helped me be critical about it. And he was really hard on me. He helped me do professional speaking. So if you've ever seen me speak somewhere, it's because he helped me through that. He told me to start the podcast. So start the podcast. Like, he told me things. Like, he wasn't nice. He's not a nice guy at all. He doesn't actually like people. He's not at all. But what he did was he challenged me in a good way. Like, he was super hard when he's talking, he would just cut you to the bone, but because you needed it. That was true mentorship. I don't need another friend. I don't need somebody, pat me on the back, tell me, oh, you're amazing. What I need is somebody going, take that and do this, take that, what you're already good at, and make it better by doing this. And I do it in our mentor group, a lot. I will say, I like this, but think about it this way. it won't hurt my feelings if you say, no, I'm going to stick with it. But also, I'm not giving you my best unless I tell you the truth. And sometimes the truth is really hard. It doesn't feel good, but you need to hear it. And that's what I learned from him is that, man, he could tell me the hardest thing and I would say, thank you. He would cut you to the bone and you would say, appreciate that. Thanks. May I have another? Man, that's good mentorship. That's what you need. You need either somebody in your life doing that for you, or you need to do it when you're a mentor. You need it not in a mean way, in a very constructive way. I got a couple of things. Chad, back when I was talking about mentoring the work release guys, as we teach them to be men, it makes us stronger too. Yeah, no matter the outcome with them in their lives as they move on. Yeah, that's true. It does make us stronger. It makes you more appreciative. It does make you stronger, and makes you understand how you can get across to people. Great point, Chad. Reap. Reap is an analogy for apology, repent, empathy, amends, perspective. I think that might be Jeremiah. And Jeremiah said that he raised my frequency. Yes, he did. How did he cut you to the bone? Can you provide an example? A couple things. So one of the ways, so what you had to do was go up on stage and tell your story. Well, what he had you would start talking. He said, I don't care. I don't care what you're saying. Doesn't matter. Like you literally, now luckily he didn't do it to me, but some of these people were kind of fake. They were like life coaches or energy healers, or they were trying to be something they weren't. Now, for me, I'm who I am, blue collar guy, telling you about, I'm chimney sweep. He loved that story. But like one of the things he told me was like, because I would wear my Ashbuster shirt. I wear my Ashbusters. I still wear my company stuff. But I had a backpack and wear motorcycle boots. And I just do that. He goes, if you're going to be on stage, you can't dress like that. He said, you've got to step up your game. You don't want to be a suit and tie or anything necessarily, but you want to look blue collar, but like slightly more polished blue collar. You want to show blue collar, but be the next level. He would listen to how you said stuff, and he would just say, that's bullshit. I don't care. And that kind of thing. Make me care. Show me how to care. One of the things I was doing when I was talking to him, I was using my hands a lot when I was trying to describe something. I still kind of do it, but he grabbed my hands and put them down and said, stop doing that. You're disrupting. I can't hear what you're saying because your hands are going crazy. Like, and he and I got along, so he wasn't as hard on me as he was other people, and the group saw it. They're like, dude, he likes you, and he doesn't. He's not as hard on you as he is other people. But he believed me because I'm not trying to be somebody I'm not. I'm just who I am, and if you like it, great. But if he could teach me to be better at getting that across, that's what he taught me. And some of it was telling the way you tell stories, the way you engage the people with happy, sad, mad, glad. Like every good speech or story, you need happy, sad, glad, mad in it. And you need to don't end the people on sad. Like, so we would do talks and we would write the talks, and some people would end it on like a downer. And you're like, and he would teach you how to take people on a ride. You want them to laugh. You want them to say, wow, I didn't know that. They don't want to be taught. They want to be entertained. If they wanted to be taught, what he told us was, they're not looking for a bullet point list of PowerPoint of all the things you're going to, especially if you're doing a keynote. You're there to tell stories and connect with them on some way and make them say, I didn't know that, or wow, I'm interested in that. I'm excited for it, or inspired by doing it. Something that somebody does that inspires you. And so I think that might help on how he would cut you to the bone. But again, you'd try to get close to him and talk to him, and he would just walk away. He wasn't interested in talking to you on that level. He was just, again, I can't say he's a friend of mine. He is in a way. He talked about me on Fox News one night. I couldn't believe it. He was on Fox News and he talked about chimney sweep. He was talking about blue collar work, and he brought me up. on that thing. And I was like, wow, that was amazing. And it almost made me feel like I was legitimate. Like he legitimized what I was doing when he did that. Like, because sometimes I don't know if you guys ever feel this, but sometimes chimney sweeping doesn't feel like. Sometimes it didn't feel like I should had anything to be proud of. I was a little bit embarrassed to be a chimney sweep for a long time. I didn't want to tell anybody I did it. But when he said that, it was like, so Diane said, Larry mentioned your story as an example on the news. Yeah, right. Yeah, he did. It was really cool when he did that. I felt I kind of got teared up. Said, I heard Larry told you to stop wearing hats. Is that true? He did when I do keynote speech, when I talk for the industry. He's like, he mostly told me to dress slightly differently, just up. So I went through, he literally took us shopping. We went shopping and went through, and he dressed all of us. He said, and he was actually a fashion guy. Believe it or not, he had a room full of walls of boots, custom made boots, like this back wall and two side walls full of custom made boots, and each pair of boots like $2,500. Like it was like, I don't know, $1 million worth of boots sitting on his wall that were custom, and all his shirts were custom. And when he arrived on stage, it was like he dressed almost like a clown, like a rodeo clown almost, because it was so bold. You didn't forget who he was. And you look him up on YouTube, and you can look him up. You'll see what I mean. He had it's called Work for a Reason. He's had a book called You're Broke Because You Want to Be. He had a book called People Are Idiots and I Can Prove It, like that kind of stuff. So, and then, yeah, he told me to dress differently, because I was just learning. But what I'm getting at is, get somebody in your life that'll tell you that stuff. Get somebody in your life that will, that you can get, kind of tell people when you're going through things, that's the key to really going fast. A lot of people are out there on an island by themselves. And if you want to be on an island and you don't want anything different, perfect. You've checked the box. You're where you want to be. And that's great. And I know there's a lot of people like that. Myself, I have this internal like burn to do something else and to kind of keep going and see what else I can get into. Because the more I do that, the more things come my way that I have to decide, what am I going to do with this? But I have to get in around people to help me go faster. Like today, now this is a Facebook group, but I'm in this forum for chocolatiers. And I put out a question. I'm like, hey, I have got a problem with this situation with these wrapping of these chocolates. And man, there's 25,000 people in this group. Here come the ideas. And some were brilliant. In fact, some of them were manufacturing ideas and processes to fix a problem I have. And that's one thing. And then today on our accelerator, we have a chat. We talk almost every day. The group does, and we cheer each other on. And hey, I got this problem. What would you guys do? Or I need this form. And then we put it out there, and we fight battles with each other to make each other go faster and better. And in our industry, we have a handful of those. We got a handful of coaches. I think Chad still coaches. I know he does marketing, and he's doing some sales training, some other things. So Chad, you can put out here if you still coach. Chad's a guy that you can sound off on, and he can say, that's a great idea, or that's a bad idea. There's several other coaches out there. There's groups, mixed groups, but there's other forums too in your local town, your networking of people. But some of these networking groups are just to sell stuff. What you need is somebody that mentors people. That's what you really need. Yeah, Chad says he's still a coach. Yep. But you and people ask me to be a mentor, and I love that. That's this season of my life. How I mentor is through these kind of Facebook Lives or podcasts is my best way to do it. Now, one day I may sit down and take on clients and do that, because that's my favorite thing to do. It literally is, but it's not the best use of my time. Alan Rush is probably the best sales coach, ride along sales coach, sales guy in the industry. and but he couldn't scale himself, and I think finally he may have figured out a way to do that recently, but that's the problem with this, is not really scaling it. But I hope that's helpful. I'm going to have to jump off here. Do I have any other questions? I got about 8 more minutes, or any more comments. I got to get ready to go to dinner. Wife should be home in a minute. We got to travel to this place. And it's funny because I think I told you, I went to this chimney fire. Quick story. We had been to this, so we swept these chimneys in this beautiful resort in Tennessee. Beautiful. And it was actually at night, and they were all very tall chimneys off a steep metal roof. So there's no roof access at all. And so we swept the chimneys, ran the cameras, everything actually looked fine. But about 2 weeks later, the place catches fire. Now we've got video of this top of this chimney on fire. Of course, my heart sinks and everything's terrible. Well, I got up there. The fire department was still there. I get up there, go up the fire truck. John Pilger'd be proud of me. Go up the ladder up there, because that's how they got up there, and look down, and there was no chase cover on the top. What they had done is put a wooden chase cover up on top of the chimney. Well, when we ran our cameras, we looked out, but the top of the chase cover was black. It was the wood that was black from soot, and we couldn't tell it was wood from the cameras. Well, the top of that caught fire. Plus, there was clearance to combustibles issues down in the chase at the builder where the roof had come. There was no attic access or anything, but sure enough, there was wood touching the pipe, and it caught fire. And we went out there today to finalize the bid. It was a pretty big 6-figure repair that we're doing out there to their system, but it's beautiful. So I booked a dinner out there tonight. Not an area that's on fire, but a beautiful area called, I won't say the name here, but a really cool resort. So that's what we're doing tonight. She didn't know it. She's out there delivering chocolates. We need so much help in the chocolate business. Like everybody, friends, family, everybody is coming in and helping us get chocolate out, get the facilities clean. Like it's artisan chocolate, so you can't just have anybody do it, but all the other ancillary things, the cleaning, the packaging, the shipping, the deliveries, the pickups, all the things. We've got a lot of people helping us right now. So I love family labor that way. Chad said, we have a coaching and mentor. When having a coach and or mentor, it's sometimes just bouncing things on your mind. You get comfortable with your coach, run things by you can't with your wife or other coworkers. It's exactly right. And sometimes just talking it through. I'm sure Chad would agree that sometimes when you just talk to somebody out loud, you've now talked it through, and that's what he's saying here. That it comes out of you. He's just kind of trying to draw it out of you by asking better and better questions and listening and maybe guiding you. Well, why do you say that? Or what makes you want to do it that way? Asking really good questions is great leadership. And your mentors should ask good questions of you and then give you some really sound advice. But yeah, you're exactly right. Diane says, thank God for the new space to package your chocolate. Yeah, we've got a new facility. We've got a production facility much bigger than our original retail shop. When we started, they said start super small, and then if it works, which most chocolate companies don't work, if it works, then grow from there. But don't start big; you'll lose a fortune. And even starting small, we lost a small fortune while we're trying to get our things together. But Reese Witherspoon talked about us today on her Instagram. She talked about being in the gift guide, and her company is called Hello Sunshine. I'll show you something real quick, just a little, not brag, but a little. This is what's happening. Well, one was in Southern Living. They did our bonbon caramel sauce in Southern Living and recommended it for, can't really see it very well, for recipes. And then Wall Street Journal listed us as a top holiday choice. And then this was probably the biggest. It went to literally millions of people, which was Reese Witherspoon's company called Hello Sunshine. You can't see it very well. It's her gift guide. And then right at the top, right there is our bonbons. On her gift guide, it said like picked by Reese right there, that little star. Super lucky, super fortunate. Just trying to do the best we can with whatever's given to us. NCSG has a great monthly mentoring roundtable session. I've benefited quite a bit from it. Yeah, that stuff is so good. Yeah, get in the group with guys who have businesses and things like you want, right? That's the key too, or that are ahead of you. But yeah, and then on your mentorship, make sure you're listening to the guys. I've seen some guys mentor that probably shouldn't be mentoring. So with that, and I've been around a lot of coaches, and there's some out there that give advice that probably shouldn't. But so and ideally, you'll outgrow your coaches and mentors. Yeah, you know, John Meredith is a big mentor of mine and still is. But there was a time he said, "Mark, you're outgrowing me. You've already surpassed me in these things. I'm going to hand you off to another group of mentors to work with them." And that's the sign of a good mentor too, is when they know that the student has become the teacher. Chris says currently, working with Chad over the past year is key to our growth, and also receiving guidance has been good. Most important, being direct has helped me as well. Yeah, couldn't agree more. I got a note to go to dinner. Great call. Good night. Have a great time celebrating Terry's birthday. Thank you so much. All right, guys, great topic. I hope it was good for you. I got to still finish my root beer, but I'm going to head out and go to dinner. Thank you for joining me. I'll see you next week.